before this watch party that we do on Sunday, where people will be able to watch Bills Dolphins with us because we're going to be here Sunday night. Billy, are you concerned? And I'm generally concerned about everything that's headed to Vegas. A whole lot of people, but not a whole lot of confidence or competence in some of those people. Are you worried that our technical difficulties on the Friday show with video and everything that was happening, as Stugotz is playing hurt here, he's coming in. Yeah. He is so tough. He is
playoff time, Dan.
He is medicated. He is really super sick. He's really tired, even though he's worked 2 days out of the last 14. And he hustled in here today because he wants to get something off about Lamar Jackson. But are you worried as we head into bigger games and bigger things that Meadowlark Media and its video and its technological capabilities are somewhat flawed?
Yes, somewhat worried. I mean, but the good thing is no one's asking for this watch party. So if it is a giant flop, it's not like we're letting anyone down, you know?
That's true. No one did ask for any of this.
Right.
We are going to watch
certainly not me.
a Bills-Dolphins game together because the Bills are favored. Somehow.
I'm just finding out about it now.
I think the selling point on this is watch us suffer as the Dolphins, hopes may be taken away from them as the season goes. Like, laugh at us as we're miserable.
You guys aren't nervous that the last time you had a watch-along, disaster struck in the fourth quarter?
What was the last time?
The Tennessee one.
The Titans game.
We weren't there for
game.
Oh, no. I mean, but that's the selling point, right?
We weren't even watching that
Make fun of us.
Right.
No,
Oh, please.
You guys were all gone by the time that happened. I think Dan was still there in the back. Dan, you were there. There was like a nice 4 minutes of a lot of fun and jubilation where you're singing the Dolphins, fight song in the middle of Dolphin Mall at 11:30 on night on a Monday outside when no one's around. And when you say Miami, you're talking super. And the energy was like great. And then it was like, they can't blow this, right? And then they did. And you're like, how did this happen? Watch that on Sunday.
I'd make the argument that fourth quarter is both the happiest Dolphin fans have been this season and the unhappiest they have been this season. And it was 4 minutes of feel good against Tennessee. And wait a minute, they're not going to lose. Oh, no, here comes December. Have you looked at the schedule? Oh, Buffalo's getting healthier. And now we limp into the end of December with very little confidence.
That's one of the joys of Hard Knocks this season is that, like, while it was happening, you felt so high for, it felt like a longer period of time. And then you saw in real time, oh, no, that crashed very quickly. Like, that was very quick. I felt good for what I thought was a really long time. And no, it was maybe 7 minutes of actual clock time.
Jessica has not actually gotten to enjoy the general fear around the Dolphins, even though I think her favorite sports thing is just watching Miami fans fall apart at the end because they were so happy and delusional and joyous, and then it doesn't end in a championship. But I think we've lost Jessica and Jeremy because they're out to alien land. All over the world, people think right across the street from us here at Bayside, there were or are 8 to 10 foot aliens. What's happening on the internet with this?
Well, first of all, Dan, I will be a Miami Dolphins fan on Sunday if the Steelers win because I am rooting for a Smetty Bowl. But Jeremy brought to my attention this morning that there are conspiracy theories on Twitter about police presence across the street this weekend, and it has made me profoundly sad.
Yeah, I went on Twitter this morning and I saw Miami Mall trending, which first obviously had me concerned about, the obvious things when you see anything trending, any sort of area trending and, not good things. But then you see this video of police presence that we have
this,
here
by
on
the
the
way,
screen.
is exclusive video. This is our video team saw that there were all sorts of sirens and lights outside, and our video team rose up, and that was the functional video that they were able to produce here to start today's show. Is what was
video
of what was happening out here, where that's an enormous police presence. That looks like something awful has happened, and you're telling me that the internet now believes it's aliens?
Yep, that's exactly what happened. So I saw Miami Mall trending and realized obviously Miami Mall doesn't exist. So I start seeing this video, and it's all these red-pilled people being like, the government's hiding something from us. This is not a normal police presence. Now there's conspiracies that I was just seeing a few minutes ago before we started that this video is actually from 8 to 10 years ago, and the government's been stifling it from us for over a decade.
The video Jason took.
Yeah, the video that
outside
Jason
when
took
this
like 3 days
happened?
ago.
Okay.
Yeah, that
All right.
video.
He's part of it.
That it's been stifled for 8 to 10 years, and that actually, if you look, there's a shadow, a malignant presence in the background that is alien life that's a 10-foot tall, shadowy figure. Sort of thinking like Stranger Things, you know, that type of thing. And right now, there's all sorts of conversation happening on TikTok and Twitter about the aliens that are being kept from us at Bayside Marketplace.
Do we have a plan for the aliens when they do get here? Do we have a plan? Because police is not enough. I feel like there should be military presence. There needs to be something
That was your
more.
takeaway?
Yes.
That's what you're worried about
Well,
with
no,
all
the
these
aliens-
people thinking there are aliens
the
there?
aliens are coming. I'm telling you. They're coming any moment.
Well, they
And
may
I'm just,
be here.
Well, I'm wondering if we have a plan in place other than just sending Miami's finest cops. I mean,
There's a lot of cops, too, for a supposed possible alien, which I've talked to my people. They've already said that's nothing. Also, there's red pill and blue pill people that believe in aliens, Jeremy.
Not on this conversation if you look at Twitter.
All
but
right.
that's
Well,
not the
no,
point.
but listen. Okay.
I don't know why we're
This-
defending the
this-
red-pilled people.
I mean, we had an alien. We saw it. The Mexican Congress showed us an alien.
That was
They
a
did
movie.
just both sides aliens.
They did a DNA
did.
test and came back with all sorts of unrecognized DNA. We saw the alien. We just didn't know how to process
look,
it, so we kept
This
moving on.
isn't the point.
It's
There were
easier
just a
for
bunch
us
of
to
kids
tell
with
us.
fireworks.
It's easier for us to convince ourselves it's a doll of some sort.
Wait, no, we have alien proof, I believe, this week from Las Vegas locally. I don't know what you expect the aliens to look like, but if I asked you for herky-jerky motions and movements that you might get from an alien in human form, we go to a Las Vegas courtroom, and before you roll this video, I just want the still up how this video begins. And I want you to see that man over the judge's shoulder clearly sees this as an alien on the way here. What you have happening here from former Miami news anchor Jorge Estevez is sheer terror that an alien is coming. Now run this video so that people can see, because this is a couple of days old, but this judge just gets out of the way, Stugotz. And that is amazing flight, aggression, hits his head on the wall behind the judge. The judge moves pretty quickly under the circumstances.
the only thing I marveled at when I saw that video for the first time was not, that the guy actually did it, was not the reaction of the people, was his ability to hop over the bench like that. The guy's got hops.
That's right. That's LeVar Arrington. Who did that? Didn't Clowney do that one time too? Arrington and Clowney are the two players to have done that famously over a defensive line. I aired, though, Stugotz.
That's a
because
Palomalo move.
him too.
Just launches
to
himself.
snap,
Yes.
I have aired in talking about aliens, though, before feeding Mike Ryan and Roy what it is that they want. Roy bounced in here this morning, and it wasn't just because of the free breakfast buffet.
It was part of it.
Mostly, but it wasn't just because of the breakfast buffet. Roy bounced in here because he loves the way that his Florida Panthers are playing. Now, I have found the way to alienate most of the audience, and Jessica, we've lost her. Panthers talk is hard. Oh, there goes Tony. Tony gone
I
as
just
well.
went on TikTok, and Jeremy's right. This Miami thing is it's everywhere. This is
Yes.
insane. And not the Panthers.
Did you say alienate on
The
purpose, Dan?
aliens.
Roy,
6-game winning streak, Dan. 6-game winning streak, longest of the season. We've already had a 5-game winning streak earlier in the season. This has just been amazing.
so it took 6 weeks for Kachuk to finally heal from the last playoff run. Is that what has happened?
No, it took Mike Ryan calling him out. And the moment he called him out, since then, he said he was worried about Kachuk. He was worried about the Panthers. He was worried about where the season was going. And then, boom, 6 straight wins. Congrats, Mike.
Back-to-back games with a goal for Matthew Kachuk.
I don't know, actually, what to do with the fact that Panthers dialogue now includes Stugotz. This is not a life that I've lived with Panther hockey, where Roy and Mike Ryan are coming in and shaking their heads and being like, well, Sam Reinhart's going to be expensive. And they're already worried about, like, future architecture.
You're right. It's the first time this has happened in show history.
The winning streak feels so good that they're all already worried about future finances.
Oh, they're not going to resign him. They can afford him.
They can't. He's in contention for the Hart Trophy. Sam Reinhart, who came into the league with a lot of hoopla and was considered a prospect and had to kind of rebuild himself as such here with the Florida Panthers, is fulfilling the early promise tenfold. He is absolutely a Hart Trophy candidate at this moment. And for much of the season, it was a bit of a Freaky Friday situation with Tkachuk and Reinhart switching productivity. But now there are signs of life from Matthew Tkachuk. He's doing all the Chucky things in front of the net, being a bit of a nuisance, and seems like he's healthy. Sometimes I correlate the production with the health because he's been out there all season long, but there were some in the Florida Panthers organization that felt this guy kind of rushed back from what was akin to a car accident.
Would you guys say, I know they made it to the Cup last year, but 2 years ago, I think that was the better team, the team that you were more excited about headed into the postseason?
They were playing a style that everyone was rightfully skeptical of, and their point total, it's the best year in franchise history, but we saw in the playoffs how frustrating that ended up being, a second-round exit at the hands of the Tampa Bay Lightning. Last year, they really struggled to play the brand of hockey that Paul Maurice brought, and it almost cost them a playoff spot. They get in there with a little bit of luck, and then they make it all the way to the Stanley Cup final. And now they have mastered this style of hockey, which is a proven style of hockey, at least for this franchise and for Paul Maurice personally in previous stops, that does bring results in the postseason. And as good as Boston has been this year, Florida is within 3 points 2 points of the Boston Bruins, and they could potentially be the top seed in the East if they keep this form going.
There was some good and fun sports last night because that Penguins-Bruins game was great last night as well. The basketball was crazy. 3 revolutionary freaks, one of them making a 40-footer at the end.
Still surprises me.
I mean, all of it.
Last night was a really cool sports night. The hockey was unbelievable. McKinnon for the Colorado Avalanche probably is going to be the Hart Trophy winner. That was a great game against the Dallas Stars.
Roy wants to name it the Reinhardt Trophy.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Hashtag Reinhardt. Yeah, that's what we're doing right now.
Where do they find the hockey show? Occasionally after games and before games?
The hockey show is every Friday. All right. The post-game show, we're working on that.
So tonight, huh?
Excellent promo.
So we're doing a watch party on Sunday. Dolphins, Bills, a watch along, a second screen experience. As who's going to be in on that? Passionate Dolphin fans, I presume?
I don't have any idea. I suggested it earlier this week to Chris Cody. I'm like, this is a pretty big game. Do you think that people would want to watch your possible suffering on television, you and your father's possible, generational suffering? I know that I tell a lot of stories. I love the storytelling in sports. The Dolphins-Bills, Stugotz, for 20 years we've been watching these two teams try to get out from under the Patriots. The Patriots this week have a game. Imagine what we're headed into in a game. Never had a 17-game season before very recently. And now this last game, the Dolphins would have won the division already if there weren't 17 games. But they've got a 17th game, and the Patriots have a game. They are 15-0 against the Jets since 2016.
Yeah.
They need to lose that game to secure a top 3 pick. Mm-hmm. The Patriots need to lose that game. That's what's happening with the Patriots, with Belichick. The last game of possibly his Patriots career can be this weekend.
What do you do if you're Belichick? I mean, because you're probably on the way out. You're not happy about it. I mean, what do you do there? I mean, do you leave him?
You're chasing Shula. Plus, you get to stick it to Kraft one last time out the door with, you want a top 3 pick? Your top 3 picks right here, buddy.
Right here. But the Bills-Dolphins are playing for the division. And, Billy, I'd like to rummage around here in your confidence and your fear as a man who has a framed Tua jersey. You wear a Dolphins baseball cap in here every day for years. Your feeling how about watching with the country this Dolphin watch party?
I mean, if it goes bad for me, it will go great for the people watching, I think, right? So it's a win-win. Either I win or they win. Because I feel like people like watching us suffer, if I'm going to be honest.
And how do you feel right now, though? Where's your confidence level? At various points this season, You put Fangio on notice. He never stops Josh Allen.
He sucked last
You put
week.
Jason Sanders. You've been threatening to cut him all season.
He's been great, though.
Physically cut him. But now would be a good time to really haunt Billy. Billy's been fearing this guy's going to miss an important kick.
And he's due, if we're going to be honest with you. He's been doing his job thus far, but, you know, if history's any indicator, we got some misses in that leg. You know what I mean?
Several people have written in, and they are correct about this. They're correct to come after both me and Mike Ryan about this because we have said Tua has fumbled 15 times, and they write in, I never comment, but I pray someone from the show sees this and tells Mike Ryan that almost all of Tua's fumbles are from bad snaps because Chris Cody has been playing center for half the season, and they mess up their snaps all the time.
I appreciate that. No, there are bad snaps, yes, but no, dude fumbles a lot and gets lucky a lot. So thank you, faceless voice.
Shouldn't Dolphin fans be confident, though? I mean, all right, he fumbles a lot. We got it.
What should they be confident in?
Confident in their team. They've lost once at home. They're a good team. They've been atop the AFC East the entire year, and everyone is frightened that Josh Allen is strolling into town.
They've lost their center.
Right.
They've lost their two best pass rushers.
Everyone's injured,
They've lost
Tone.
I know, but you're talking about confidence meter. Your second corner is gone.
Right.
Your safeties are kind of banged up. Your linebackers aren't good. Your second receiver isn't there.
Your pass rush is gone.
Yeah, I said your best two pass rushers are gone for the season. Like, what do you have confidence in? McDaniels and Tyreek, who's on a bad leg?
Yeah. McDaniels. That's who I have confidence in.
McDaniel.
Yes. McDaniel. I added an S. It doesn't need an S.
No,
Right.
it happens.
Josh McDaniels.
It's a tough name,
I'm Cuban.
right?
I add
Yeah.
S's. I'm sorry.
It's not a tough name, but when you get to a certain age, you do start adding S's.
He usually has an S accompanying it.
We haven't seen a center not able to snap well bite any other team in the ass coming down the stretch in this football season.
Certainly not this week.
I'd be curious as I talk to a local audience. I've told you guys before, the local hour has always been my favorite around here. The local hour is what I wanted to always be doing in this space, not the other stuff. But the local teams were and so we had to talk about other things. But this football team playing this game is something I've been denied for basically 20 years. This football team winning this game doesn't have a precedent this century. They lose this game. A generation of fans weaned on Dolphin football don't know what it's like to win important games. The generation before that and the one before that made this franchise matter in this city, made this city matter, if I'm being honest. The reason the expressway is named after Don Shula is people learned what Miami was because that football team, that weird football team down south, went undefeated in professional football. Made Miami matter more, Dolphin football did, in a way that no other franchise down here can ever resonate like that. And Buffalo has only that. Buffalo has only that football sports identity. Buffalo is known for that football team loses. That football team loses in Super Bowls. That football team never wins. But that football team is coming in here with expectations, and I believe Dolphin fans down here are scared.
How quickly we forget about Dominic Hasek.
Yeah. 99 Stanley Cup final.
The Dominator.
No goal.
Would you guys want an expressway named after you? 'Cause
Sure.
I don't think I would. I
Why?
mean, of all the things, it's because people hate expressways. Yeah. You're often cursing the expressway. You're late wherever you go. You blame the expressway. Like, name a park after me. Name a light post after me. Name something not like not even a bridge. I wouldn't want a bridge named after me either.
A building?
I'm pro-bridge.
Really?
Yeah.
How come?
I don't know. I think of like the Roberto Clemente Bridge in Pittsburgh. It's a good bridge.
Would you want like a building named after like a library? I wouldn't want anything like that.
Why wouldn't you want a library?
Well, I mean, look at me. You think a library should be named after me? Come on, get real.
Well, you just were real quick to name a park after yourself for some reason.
Well, I'm saying if I'm given a
He's
choice.
a park guy.
Yeah, I'm a park guy. I was at the park yesterday.
Track and
A
field.
light
Billy Gil
post.
Tropical Park
Yeah.
Memorial.
Memorial. I'm dead?
Billy Gil Memorial. I don't know. I'm
Why
working on
can't
the
I be
name.
alive when I have a park
They don't give
named
parks
after
to
me?
live people.
Yes, they do.
You got to be dead.
No, it's not
You want a
true.
library. Libraries have streaming services now.
Nah, give me a park with Wi-Fi.
Get out of here.
Yeah, you didn't know that?
No dogs
Nah.
in my park,
It's
by
not
the
a
way.
library then.
Yeah, you got a streaming service.
Nah.
You can
No
stream
dogs.
movies.
You go there, you read books. I
No
mean, you pick out a
dogs.
book, you pick it off the shelf,
Everyone's
no
gonna hate
internet.
your park.
No, my park will be free. No dogs in my park.
Some
I'm telling you
libraries
right
have
now.
3D printers.
People are still going to your park.
No
even if they
one
don't
will
bring
in my park. No in my park. That's on the sign. No dogs. No. Not even service dogs. I'm sorry. I don't know if that's legal, but no dogs.
It's not.
I don't want any dog poo-poo in my park.
Put it on the poll, please, Juju. Do they put the names of living people on parks at Le Batard Show?
I'd also like one of those like exercise areas in my park where you just use your body, you know what I mean? Where you stand on the thing and you go like exactly the adult,
plaque, right, with a
adult
plaque.
The ones we had to close during COVID.
that you look at them and you're like, what does this do?
We had to put caution tape on.
Gets you in shape. That's what it does.
This guy can't do pull-ups. It was a wild time.
Billy, thank you for bringing this up because I have had this thought. When those people are doing those exercises in the park.
They're usually old people.
Well, but I have said to myself,
Or
Kids.
show-offs.
Yeah, our kids just messing it up. Trying to get some sweat in here.
the weird exercise where you're just pulling yourself up.
Wait a minute.
Like, we really have to caution tape this thing out? This is a super spreader?
I have laughed going past those parks because there is police tape around the COVID parks, and I too have had the reaction of really, Grandpa's a liability issue, swinging here very gently, not barely breaking a sweat on this machine that no one else but Grandpa has used in about 9 years.
Honestly, the liability is having an 80-year-old on that machine to begin with. You know what I mean?
Or in the park in general.
Not my park. Mine's going to be safe. Well lit.
What else? Okay, please. I'd like to continue building out Billy Gill Park. So far, I've got a creaky, rusty elliptical machine of some
No, it
sort.
won't be rusty. It'll be, well coated with whatever the coating is to keep it from rusting. At the playground, they'll have like those canopies that they have over the playgrounds now. You know what I mean? And sand. There will be sand. None of that rubber crap that they put in playgrounds right now. Exactly right. None of that stuff. Very hot. Need any of that.
Melted rubber. Oh,
Yeah,
God.
no thank you.
No.
Water fountains, the kinds that you can also put your bottle at too.
But
Good
no
water
dogs.
fountains. No dogs. No shitting. Dogs. Look, I love dogs. I almost kicked a dog right now by accident when I was doing exercise. There's a dog running about here. But I don't want poo-poo in the park. No one likes to step in poo-poo. And if you have dogs, that's what it leads to.
And
because here's the thing.
people don't pick up their poo-poo here.
That's the problem.
Oh, that's the
it's
other
the
thing.
people. It's not the dogs. I love the dogs. It's
Like
the
Dan.
people with the dogs that don't pick up the poo-poo. Not a fan. And then where does the poo-poo go? I'm a shoo-shoo. And that's not what anybody wants when they go to the park.
Willow is a menace. Jessica, again, makes her own rules on Friday. Back row Jessica has been a general menace around here. And Willow has now taken to breaking things. She is actively, there is right behind you, Stugotz, you can see a basketball that used to be inflated has now been bitten and deflated. Because
That's what dogs do, Dan.
She loves those.
Yep.
Maybe Willow was biting some wires earlier in the control room or something.
Actually, right before the show, I saw little teeth marks in the main wire that is you plug it in and the whole thing comes on live. So
No wonder.
Wow.
yeah,
I ask again.
there's one wire and she
The main one,
chewed
yeah.
that
We
one.
have it exposed.
I want to ask forgiveness of the audience that expected to find us here on video Friday live because Willow or the aliens got to the wires.
The main wire.
Yeah, Willow probably.
Can't be sure. That was a
Little
lot
nibble marks on the one wire.
A lot of police presence out there. You don't know how aliens nibble, though. You don't know.
fair point.
I mean, you guys, all of a sudden, everybody around here is a know-it-all. They know all about the aliens.
They're really large, but they have really tiny teeth, so you never know.
They're not really large. Did no one watch
They don't
the
have any
Mexican
teeth.
Congress?
That was a cake.
Stugotz, you came in here
Yes.
hurting and drugged up because you had some words for Lamar Jackson. And we got to compete against Nick Wright. We don't like that he is stealing our which includes going viral while in costume. A professional thief, Nick Wright is. I hate that he stole my joke, and I hate that I didn't think of both the take, which has been better than all of my takes, but also that he thought to do it dressed as a 1970s hippie Lothario Jesus Christ. That he decided to do it in what looked
Well, he
like
got you.
a shirt that was meant to make it appear like he was shirtless, and a sweater that is sort of Christmassy, sort of surfery, and then just full-on Old Testament Jesus Christ.
I'd go Victorian era vampire.
That's a fine Dano. He wasn't in the Old Testament. He was in the New Testament, which is why it's the New Testament, not the Old Testament. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony, for the biblical help. But we've got a take from Stugotz.
I kept teasing him in the Old Testament.
My bad.
It was like a
It's called
Kanye
the
album.
foreshadowing. Yeah.
A really bad mistake by me. That's a fine. Stugotz, it doesn't happen to me too often in the entirety of my career, watching everybody feed at the sports take trough, and then I hear something, and I'm like, man, I wish I had delivered that way. I wish I would have been able to reach an audience with this communicated this well in this setting with this much context. And the next step on what I felt when I saw what Nick Wright said and how he said it for 14 minutes. As a casual, basically hip check to Dan, you were talking about the wrong things when this story broke, because I did get immediately obsessed with Disney, Kimmel, Aaron Rodgers, and the idea that Kimmel and McAfee would now be in a fight on Disney's platform where politics, depending on how you look at it, are either too woke, as Ron DeSantis feuds with Disney, or not woke enough because they now have a athlete on the air who's not even playing quarterback, who's voicing things that are at least as objectionable politically as whatever it is you thought I and we were saying on ESPN. My viewpoint initially was to the drama and the soap opera of it, and I can't believe how obvious this is now that Nick Wright has pointed it out and that I missed it. But that the deterioration of Aaron Rodgers publicly from State Farm insurance man to now one of the most famous athletes in America, so famous that his words matter even when he's not playing, has gone full-blown, obvious to all, internet conspiracy brain. And the way that Nick Wright put it was artful, and I would just tell you, as an audience, if you want to listen to 14 good minutes on it, you can do so. It's very thorough, and it covers a lot of context and history. But he was dressed like Jesus Christ, and he always dresses like that. And I really enjoy that somebody who's that good at this game looks like that, and that Jessica thought he was nude, thought he was doing it in a culty bathrobe of some sort, and that the shirt was his actual skin.
Well, he's always dressed in a suit, and that his casual leisure wear is, I believe his wife is also his stylist, and so he's always very dapper, and the long hair just does make him look, he's got a look to him. I'll just put it that. But he's also, for my money, as good as anyone in the business right now. He's as informed, as smart, as quick as anyone I've ever come across. And it's been that way for years. And there's a reason why he has the highest rated show on Fox Sports 1. And watching that, you realize, even though it takes him 14 minutes, you realize that he's just operating on a different level. And he seizes on things that I didn't even catch because, truthfully, I saw the Kimmel clip. I didn't care to seek out other stuff. I'm working. I don't have time to watch McAfee. I'm a big fan of Pat McAfee and his brand. Kind of checked out on the Aaron Rodgers stuff. But I didn't capture the whole... I didn't get the whole Alphabet Mafia thing that he dropped. I learned of it through Nick Wright's take, and I think it's deeply problematic.
Well, one of the things that I would say to you guys, because of appreciation, Stugotz, for the art of this, because I want to get to your Lamar Jackson take, but what we do is extraordinarily stupid. Obviously, to call it art is an overstatement, but the take and how to do this. Nick Wright wanted to be what he dreamed of being as a radio person, and a radio person has the room to do 14 minutes on that, which is why that viral clip from Nick Wright ends up being on his secondary project that isn't on television, because television can be very confining and doesn't give you the 14 minutes that you need to have all of that context. But I do wonder, given that Jessica is in the back, worried instead of finding funny, and correctly worried that police presence is making it a truth in many parts of America that there are aliens outside of our building right now because everyone is so suspicious and media is falling apart.
Damn right there are.
And everybody knows that information and misinformation can now be dangerous to a variety of people, that it can be dangerous that we're throwing pedophile casually at anybody. At anybody. Dangerous in a way that outside of a pizza shop in Washington, if people believe the wrong things and think they have more information when they're misinformed and they go freedom fight, they end up with guns being arrested outside of a pizza parlor because they think there's a satanic cult engaging in pedophilia.
One of the many strange things that Aaron Rodgers said about those comments when he was talking to Pat McAfee about the Epstein list is there is no reason, even if Jimmy Kimmel was on the list, he said he was going to celebrate. He was going to toast with a glass of scotch. And I want to like Aaron Rodgers so badly, Dan. I do, but he's making it really difficult. Even if you're right, there is nothing to celebrate. What are you celebrating? That you were right that Jimmy Kimmel was on a list with a bunch of people who did horrific things? It's terrible.
I like that even now you're still hedging because there's a chance you might see him in Tahoe next summer and you still want to be able to do that interview.
I know.
The thing that is so disheartening and so frustrating and feels disingenuous about Aaron Rodgers and so many of these folks is like they don't even seem to actually care about the crimes. They just care that the people that they don't like are linked to them. So they'll completely ignore it if the people on their side are linked, where on the other side of it, those people will legitimately go away and not like have power or substance or a platform, where people like Aaron Rodgers are saying, I will celebrate if Jimmy Kimmel is on this list, while passing over entirely what it actually means to have this list to begin with. It's infuriating because that part of it where you're linking, the alphabet mafia, which for those who don't understand or know what that actually means, it's the LGBTQIA community. And then you have alphabet mafia and anti-trans rhetoric and COVID and Epstein list, and it's all just linked together as one giant conspiracy of the government's out to get us and they're putting chips in us and deciding who we need to vote for, when all of those issues shouldn't actually even be related, which just shows you the brain rot that is actually going on with Aaron Rodgers.
But let me stop you for a second, because I know at this point in the proceedings, okay, because I've seen it happen in a way that's a bit alarming to me as I've seen social media change, Stugotz, and I felt the nature of how criticism of me has reached me. And I'm a little bit baffled, right, that you can hate me like that because this program, the last 10 minutes of it, look at that echo chamber of wokeness. All they do is agree with each other and talk about the same things. And there is another side to hearing this that is so diametrically opposed that if I were to dismiss what you're saying, Jeremy, is unfair and stupid, the answer would be, no, you're unfair and stupid. You're the one that's biased. You're the one who is always going to come out against Aaron Rodgers. And furthermore, hey, you were a little loud on Kyrie Irving. I caught you in that inconsistency there. You were a little loud, and Kyrie Irving does do a lot of good, but you kind of hit him super, super hard on things. And there are a lot of people who are looking at Aaron Rodgers and Dave Chappelle as brave, who are getting a set of facts that make them think those people are freedom fighters, that they are fighting for the right things, and they're the ones who are telling the truth. And in the gulf between those things, however it is that this show sounds to you on a daily basis, because I know what I'm getting criticized for, and I know what I'm trying to do. I'm getting criticized at every turn by only surrounding myself with people who think like me, because there's another side to how I think. And those people tend to flock elsewhere in wherever Joe Rogan or Barstool or wherever it is you can find something that is less left than this. And what has happened in the country is that where I thought in talking about race stuff that I was, left in sports, that I've been left behind, that I'm now on the fringes because the middle has moved, the right has moved, and now I'm the one who's too sensitive and too soft, and everyone's leaving New York and San Francisco. You've noticed, right? And Hannity's coming to Florida because the free state of Florida is safe. And I'm surrounded by Cubans in Miami who don't like me very much because I'm not on their side. I'm not on the side of my people when it comes to some of this stuff. I'm more and more alone on this corner of earth as the internet gets louder and angrier and more poisoned, and the people I'm arguing with have a totally different set of facts than I do and don't like me from the jump because of whatever it is they think I am before we've even arrived at a conversation.
This is an issue with media literacy in this country as well, because some of these things, you cannot both sides them. There are facts and there are not facts. A YouTube video is not the same as an actual fact that exists. And, what you were just talking about, I did go hard after Kyrie Irving because he was sharing anti-Semitic videos and then double downing on it. It wasn't right from the jump. It's the people who decide to then harden their stances. And people like Aaron Rodgers who are continuing to dive in on the same things over and over again and only leaning further and further into it. It isn't left versus right. It's facts versus falsehoods.
Yeah, but that argument was so 2 years ago. Like, that's, yes.
2024.
To me, it's better than what you're doing, which is trying to, rationalize with them. You want to level with them? Like, they've left you in the dust because they want their opinions reaffirmed.
Do you feel like you're on the right?
They're going to other places because they're sick of being told that they're wrong. They're going in the warm bosom. And that's how, when anyone gets sucked into any of this stuff, they tend to dig in deeper. As we've seen progressively, Aaron Rodgers dig in deeper. That's just the way of the world. So lamenting that you can't rationalize with them, that's where we are right now. And to Jeremy's point about media literacy, there are some states in the union that are doing something about it. It's becoming like required curriculum in high schools. And there's a whole generation that's going to have to find their way through a whole new muddied world. I feel bad for older people. I saw it happen with my grandfather before he passed, where he discovered YouTube late in age, and he started going down these rabbit holes, and his own beliefs were reaffirmed through an algorithm and fortified to the point that I'm casually eating pasta with my granddad during his last days, and he's like, Michelle Obama's a woman. I'm like, okay. All right, that's just where you can't. There's a certain segment of the population that you can't reason with.
She's a man, is the internet.
She is a woman.
She is a woman. Right. Well, now look at what we've done.
What happened?
He just misspoke, and
guess we're not that far left after all.